Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over 5 books that feel like self-care or books that you can read to get you out of a reading slump. So let's dive in. The first book I actually luckily have a physical copy of, and it's going to be This Fatal Kiss. Now, I'm sure you can tell the cover is literally so magical and whimsical, and I can promise you the inside is the exact same way. So just for a close-up, let's see. Now, this story is a little bit more unique than other fantasy romance stories that you might read or might be used to reading. It is a tried and true love triangle. So that was honestly a little bit of a surprise. I guess when I picked it up at Barnes & Noble's, I didn't read it thoroughly enough, but I loved it all the same. I know there are some people out there who they hear love triangle and they literally walk in the other direction, but I can promise you there is no love lost between any of the characters. Literally all you're getting is just more love, more journey, more like excitement, etc. So This Fatal Kiss follows our water nymph main character, and for those of you who don't know, within this kind of lore or mythology, water nymphs are born due to a major death next to a body of water. Either they were killed, or they drowned, or they killed themselves, and our main character is a water nymph. Now, she was told by the head honcho of their society that if she is able to kiss a human, she can get her life back. And of course, the story follows her journey on how she's attempting to steal that kiss and get her human life back. And along the way, she ends up bumping into an exorcist, someone who's attempting to get rid of her, for lack of a better term, unalive her, ? And then also a guy that they're both interested in. So the exorcist and our main character are both after the same guy, but they also end up feeling something towards each other. Now, I kid you not, the thing that sold me the most on this book was the fact that it was as magical and whimsical as the exterior of the book. So I know that people say don't judge a book by its cover, but in this case, the saying is incorrect. And we love that, because it was so good. Okay, but yeah. I would totally recommend this book if you are trying to get out of reading slump. It definitely doesn't have the, oh my god, we have to save the world kind of vibe, so it was really relaxing and cozy to read. I found myself falling into it after about the first 100 pages, so that was honestly a really, really good sign. But yeah, This Fatal Kiss. Okay, the next book, honestly, I was reading it till 4 a.m. during the weekday when I literally had to be up for work at 5 or 6, so I feel like that says a lot. This one got me out of reading slump due to the fast pace and the unique world and setting. Not as cozy as the previous book mentioned, This Fatal Kiss, but just as good within its own right. And the book is going to be in the veins of The Drowning. Now, this book follows a siren, and sirens within this society are looked at as outcasts. No one trusts them. They have the ability to ensnare the people around them with just their vocals and, the typical siren kind of lore. But our siren, the island that she lives on, causes her to live in hiding. On top of that, of course, she's going to be having a high standing and relation to the king. We follow our main character as she's breaking free from the chains that are holding her, and we kind of watch as she kind of gets used to her power. I'm definitely watering it down a lot, but it's in the hopes of not spoiling it, and I would totally recommend this book. I loved the pace, I loved everything about it. I would say there were some things that were a little bit quick to happen. It felt a little bit rushed towards the end. All in all though, if you're looking for something that has that sea, ocean, adventure, Pirates of the Caribbean feel, but a little bit darker almost, I would say this is the book for you, especially if you're in the mood for something quick. I kid you not, I read it all through the night and I was thinking about it for weeks after. Okay, the next book I also unfortunately do not have a physical copy of, but I am hoping to get some for all of these books because I love them so much. It's gonna be Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Now, this book is more like This Fatal Kiss in the sense that it is on the cozier side. And again, there is a love triangle, so I apologize for those of you who dislike them, but there are other recommendations on here that should fit the bill of what you're looking for. Daughter of the Moon Goddess, of course, follows the the daughter of the moon goddess. Our main character finds herself kind of being thrown into it in the sense that she has the ability to help, and then she also wants something. She wants to free her mother, the moon goddess, from the moon. And we kind of watch as she's struggling to fight for herself, her beliefs, her desires, while we have that little love triangle going on the side. We have that whimsical feel that's just beautiful going on. And then I also love the pace of this story. It wasn't too slow. I could see some people getting a little bit annoyed with the flowery prose or the flowery descriptions that occur, but I think they were honestly added in very needed places, especially when hearing about the set. Oh my god, okay, the next book is honestly so popular, and it's for a good reason. So this one is also going to be another book that has that whimsical feel. I think whenever I'm in a book slump, or life is getting a little bit too heavy, something that feels like a fairy tale is usually what I reach for, because it has that ability to remind me that there are other things in this world other than the things that are bringing you down. So the book that I'm going to show y'all next is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries. Now this was so cool to read, and I reckon most of y'all watching have read it before, but I loved it because it genuinely has that fairy tale feeling. I love the setting and how they're in more so of like a snowy, cold place. I was transported. I loved how they had actual fairy tales. And what was really cool, side note before I give you guys a summary who haven't read it, when reading the author's bio, it says that she actually writes like kid fairy tales in a sense, I believe it was, or she actually writes children's books, and you can tell when you're reading it because she has such a good way of explaining things in simple ways while still making them feel so big and like powerful, and they have such a big impression. It's a few words to deliver the blow. Okay, now for the summary, for those of you who have not been fortunate enough to read it. So Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries follows our main character, Emily Wilde, as she travels to this kind of isolated, snowy area. It kind of reminded me of the book Frankenstein, how they're kind of like in that little snowy area where no one would want to go, and it's like you'd risk your life even if you tried. She has the cutest dog ever when she travels. So she travels there in hopes to work on her Encyclopedia of Faeries, and lo and behold, of course, her rival professor follows her there too. And we watch as they work together. Oh, actually, she does most of the work. We watch as she works and he relaxes while they attempt to research these fairies. There's some cute twists and turns along the way. If you're somebody who's looking for a nice, cozy winter book as the seasons start to change, I would recommend this book for you, especially if you're in a reading slump, because the way that it feels, it's just, it's so good. Hopefully that summary was enough to convince you guys. I feel like I have a bad habit of watering down the books when I summarize them because I don't want you guys to know too much or too little, but I'm learning. Please bear with me. Okay, but yeah. And I have the other two books here. I'm trying to get them all in this format, this design, because I think it fits the book so well, but I haven't started the second or third book yet. So let me know if you like them down below in the comments, and maybe I'll crack them open for my next few reads. Maybe I'll finish the series in the next few weeks. Okay. The next book is going to be The Baby Dragon Cafe. Now this to me is the perfect fall book, and luckily our author is bringing us another 2 books for the series. We have The Baby Dragon Cafe, which is available on Kindle Unlimited. Then we have The Baby Dragon Bakery, which is already available, but you have to pay $2.99 if you'd like to read it on Kindle Unlimited. And then we have The Baby Dragon Bookshop, which is available February 12th of this year, I believe, and they are all so far very cozy. The first one is very fall, and the romance is so cute. It's gonna be Grumpy Sunshine, and we have this guy who is a little bit down on his luck. He's kind of going through it. He's definitely on the sadder side, the grieving side of things. Then we have our Baby Dragon Cafe owner, our main character, who is also on the grieving side of things, but she's kind of trying to make the best of it. She's kind of trying to focus on the sunshine rather than the rain. So they meet each other by chance. In fact, The baby dragon, one of the many, kind of has something to do with it. It's a very cute meet cute, and we kind of just watch them as they get to know each other, maybe even fall in love. We watch as they kind of work together to help and take care of the baby dragons. It's all very cute, very wholesome, and honestly a very, very good and cozy read for when you're attempting to relax, take it easy, and not read any books that, you know, have high stakes and, you know, are focused on whether or not the world is going to end, because those I'm kind of burnt out from them at the moment. I might read a few soon because I'm kind of building my way back up to it. This Fatal Kiss kind of helped me kind of get back into things. I think that was the most recent book I read that kind of got me out of my reading slump, so I totally hope you guys check it out. Fingers crossed, because it's so good. But yeah, that's gonna be the Baby Dragon Cafe for you, and I hope you enjoy. So that was all. Those are my 5 books that feel like self-care, books that I recommend if you're in a reading slump or just kind of feeling a little bit burnt out and worn out from the world, which is totally fair. It happens to the best of us, but I hope that these books help, or if you just read them because you're interested in them. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Bye!